Hey everybody, this is Annie Noodle, and once upon a time I bought a bunch of QOR paints that were a part of one of my art hauls, and I want to today take the QOR paints, put them into this, which is a travel palette, which is also part of that art haul, and then do a little bit of painting on my sketchbook for fun. Yeah. So as you can see, I've already done the swatches, and I started doing some just color testing to see, what I'd, want to put in my travel palette. There are only 18 wells, and I have 24 colors, so 6 must be eliminated. Alright, after some deliberation, this is what I've ended up with for my 18. I am going to let you know what I'm taking out, because some of them were really easy, and some of them I had to actually think about a little bit. Permanent Alizarin Crimson is coming out because it is not light fast. What is this? This yellow is also not in the screen. There you go. This yellow, which I'm not going to try to pronounce. Diarylide. Diarylide. Anyways, so this yellow is not coming in because it is also not light fast. And this is for sketchbook work, but sometimes I do like to take things out into the world to paint on that aren't just my sketchbook. So, and titanium white, like I said, that was an easy one. Cad red I'm taking out, which is just because if it actually has cadmium in it, and I can't remember the number of actual cadmium. Is it PR 108? I'll probably check eventually. But yeah, I don't want to get, I don't dump paint water when I'm out in the field, but if that ever happened accidentally, I really do not want cadmium just splooshing everywhere, especially because I like to paint in parks and things, and I don't want to dump paint water that has cadmium in it into our parks. They have enough problems as is. Raw sienna I just took out because I have quinacridone gold, and then I have 3 browns, and I had to pick a brown to go, so I picked that one. And cerulean blue is kind of the same thing. I just had a lot of blues. I have the ultramarine and phthalo blue, and then a cobalt teal and a verdian green. We got a lot of bluish colors, so I think we'll be okay. Ba-ba. 18 wells. Here's some cat hair. Ooh, I have. Yes, I have half pans that will fit in here. Woohoo! So I heard about this palette from the Frugal Crafter, and so I knew ahead of time that I was going to want half pans for these. Woohoo! Yeah, I'm not going to put those in right away because that means I'd have to take them out again. Filling half pans, filling half pans. And I'm still not sure how QOR re-wets, because I hear some people say that it's awesome. Oh, I should be labeling these. And I hear some people say that it's horrible. Also, I wonder if I'm just going to do a voiceover for this part. Probably. Well, okay, so I'm doing a very slight voiceover here, but yeah, I just wanted to say I honestly didn't notice until right now, days later, that I, in fact, put a cadmium yellow in this palette. I'm gonna avoid cadmiums in my travel palettes. No, I'm not. I'm gonna forget half the time. I'm gonna try, though. I'm gonna try. This is transparent pyrrole orange. Isn't that gorgeous? Yeah. Yes, that's very pretty. It kind of looks like a peep. Peep. Ooh, okay. But look at this. This is Permanent Scarlet PR168. It is so pretty. It does not look like a peep. Unless it's a peep that you melted in the microwave. Okay, and now it is voiceover time. With me, Voiceover Annie. I don't know exactly what I'm going to talk about. I could probably talk about, ooh, I love watching filling half pans. That's really fun. Especially when I'm watching myself, I keep dropping them, and it's really funny. I'm not gonna lie. It's very amusing for me. And I really, really struggle to get the caps back on these tubes for some reason, like over and over again. So it's fun for me to watch. But also, I really love watching that palette get filled with the colors that are on the palette, on the swatch next to it. I don't know. This is like a very pretty little shot for me, and I love colors. So, as far as channel news goes, I ordered a microphone. I'm very excited. I feel like I've been making videos for a few months now, and I like it, and I want to keep doing it, which means I need to start getting better at it instead of just kind of, you know, going with the flow sort of thing, which is fine for a while you're figuring things out, but like, yeah, I'm going to want to keep doing this. I really think it's fun, and hopefully other people get something out of it as well. My cat is currently recovering very, very nicely. We are still keeping a close eye on him because it's one of those things that can keep happening if you don't keep on top of it. And I will still be starting a Patreon, just honestly mostly because I think it sounds like a fun thing to do. I get really excited about trying new things, so I'm gonna start a Patreon. Yeah, I had no idea how thick and sticky these paints were. That really could have been a lot worse than it was, but I still think it's really funny. And I almost did exactly the same thing with this Van Dyke Brown, and I just made this, I left this huge glop of paint on the palette there. And yeah, at this point I was like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, well, it's funny to me because I'm laughing at myself. So, here we are putting down some water around these little lily pads. And I have not painted that much with my core paints. And so, like, when I touched the paint to that water, and it just, like, it exploded out. It was so crazy. I was just floored. Yeah, I definitely need to play with them more in a more loose way. I think they'd be really great for that. And, I mean, like, I definitely could spend more time making loose paintings because I mean, as much as I like this page in my sketchbook, it's definitely very structured, and I definitely could have done a lot more to make it more gestural, and I think making time to paint loose, sketchy paintings is going to help my art improve drastically. I just need to make the time to do it, so it's on the list. That list is very long, but it's on there. So this photo, I used a photo reference for the the flamingo and the duck, I found the picture on the free reference photos for artists group on Facebook that I talk about constantly. And like halfway through painting this page, I kind of took a closer look at it and I was like, hey, like, this is photoshopped. Not that it matters, but like, there was not a flamingo standing next to a duck. And if I would have taken, I mean, it could have been taken at a zoo, but like the lighting on the two birds is totally different. And so like I started painting the duck and I was like, wait, why is there sunlight on this duck and there's no sunlight on the flamingo? Oh, but yeah, it was subtle enough that it, and I mean, honestly, I just wasn't paying close enough attention. So like I didn't notice until, and it's fine. Like it's still a really cute picture. I have no regrets about painting it. But yeah, it just felt a little foolish that I did not notice that sooner. So I am now starting on the lily pads, and there's a couple things that I'm doing. One is trying to vary the greens that I'm using, so I use different mixes of greens for different lily pads because I don't want them all to look the same. And some of them I'm just painting red because they can be red too. They change colors. They're really pretty. They're leaves, so they can be leafy colors. And then the other thing I am doing is after I put the base coat down, I go back and just dab in a second color. Like that. I am so close to finally being done with this sketchbook. I am so excited. I think I've been working on this for like a year at this point, or something close to it. I think I started it last August. So yeah, and then I'll do a sketchbook tour of the sketchbook, which I think will be really fun. Oh, and so, like, right here you can see that I kind of oopsed a little bit, and that happens with watercolor. If you touch the green lily pad that is still wet with your red paint, and then it spreads onto the green lily pad, which is fine, because these can have little red splotches on the green lily pads anyways, so it doesn't matter. But if it was a painting that I cared more about, it would probably, you know, behoove me to be more careful in my painting. Also, I really love painting flowers of all kinds, honestly, but especially any sort of lilies. I love all the lilies. And now we are starting on the flamingo, and this particular flamingo was very pale. And from what I understand, flamingos get their coloring from what they eat, so like they usually eat like a very pink, is it like a shrimp or maybe like some other sort of tiny crustacean that's very, very pink, or maybe it's an algae? I can't remember. I know that that's why their beaks are shaped that way, so that they can kind of filter the tiny animals out of the water, and they swoosh the water out and then, yeah, filter, and it's like baleen on a whale, sort of. Anyways, so this one was very pale, so he doesn't have a lot of pink on him. So I don't know what that says about his diet. I guess he doesn't eat a lot of pink things. I had an English teacher once that said her sister used to eat too many carrots and her skin started turning orange from all the beta carotene, which I guess is a thing that can happen. I mean, if I've cut a lot of oranges and my hands have turned orange, so I mean, I guess it's possible that if you eat a lot of, what did I say, oranges? I meant carrots. Carrots with beta carotene. Yeah. Anyways, so if I said oranges instead of carrots, just like go back and pretend that I said carrots. But yeah, apparently she really, really ate a lot of carrots and her skin changed colors. And then I just started painting the first layer of the little reflection in the water of the flamingo's legs. So I want to apologize in advance for this art-based joke that I'm about to make. And it's totally fine if you don't get it, but it made me laugh way too hard to take it out. It's very important to use this color on the duck because it's Van Duck brown. Anyways. Yeah, I think that's way too funny. So here I am painting the duck with some Van Duck brown, and I am doing like a negative painting thing, so I'm trying to leave spaces in between his little duck feathers to give kind of that feeling of separation, so it's not just all one big brown duck blob. And then I am putting in some, I think that is quinacridone gold on top of the Van Dyke brown. It's good to layer colors in your watercolor because that's what gives your watercolor paintings like depth and interest. It's especially fun to layer kind of complementary colors. It gives your paintings extra pizzazz. And you have to be careful that when you do it, not to get your paints muddy. And if you're going to do complementary colors, if you don't want to just have your paints turn into mud, you need to wait till your layers are dry. Yeah. Ask me how I know that. There might be some ugly paintings hiding in my house. I also really love painting birds. So my friend and I went to the park the other day, and they have a koi pond, and like one of the koi must have had little koi babies because they're like 8 bajillion little tiny baby koi fish in there. I have no idea what they're gonna do with them this summer. Like, that pond is not that big. Anyways, but they look so pretty. Alright, so this is dry. We're going to peel the tape off, and then I suspect I will want to go over it with a liner and put in some lines, because this is kind of a little bit wishy-washy, but let's pull some tape. Yay! Oh, also I put lines around the tape, thinking that it would be cooler looking when I put in the lines in the end. Oh, and now my tape is stuck to everything. Cool! Whee! It is somehow less satisfying that there are lines there. I'm sorry. It's less satisfying for me as well. Okay. So here's what it looks like without the lines. It's pretty. It needs lines. Okay, so we are ready to put in some lines on this stuff. I'm going to use this Kakuno pen that has this little smiley face on it. Hello! It's got, not carbon. It's the brown pigment ink. What color is it? It's brown. I want to say it's sienna. I don't know. The bottle's like way over there. So we're going to do this. So this is the Platinum Sepia. I don't know why I couldn't think of the word sepia, but I could not. And just like the Platinum Carbon, it is waterproof. I really love drawing with this in my sketchbooks and then watercoloring over it. I do also have a J. Urban? I don't know how to say his name. How to say that person's name. I do also have a brown ink from them, and I really love it. And I cannot remember the name of it. I'm so sorry, but that one is not waterproof, and I really like drawing with that one and then just going over it with water. So I will try not to be lazy and actually put links to this stuff in the description. So I really thought it was super fun to watch putting in the lines on the lily pads in like fast forward, super speedy. I don't know why. And I mean, like, I shouldn't like it because it revealed like how bad my perspective was off on these lily pads. I mean, like, I didn't really try too hard, but it's still pretty awful. Anyway, it's fun to watch though, so. So today was Prime Day on Amazon, and I did not make it. I ordered some sketchbooks and the microphone that I mentioned, and possibly some paint as well. So I finally ordered some, I can't remember. I think it was Himi, or was it Mia? People say them together all the time, so I always forget, and they're both 4-letter words. So, but I ordered some gouache to give myself a gouache challenge. Once I open those containers of gouache, I will be doing a gouache painting every single day until it's gone. That's what I'm doing. So I really want to up my gouache painting game, and I think I need to really challenge myself in order to do that. Otherwise, I'll just keep, I'll do a gouache painting once in a while. So when I am doing lines on an animal like this, I like to try to keep in mind that I want broken lines, because flamingos don't have a solid line. Even their like very graceful flamingo-y necks are pretty fluffed up still, so I don't want to have just like, I don't want him to look like he's got a hard casing on. Well, his legs, it's okay to do a little bit more like straight solid lines, but yeah. And then when I'm putting in the feathers, I'm also trying to keep in mind the way that his body is shaped, so that the lines that I put on him give him form. And then I put in little texture feathers because they're cute. And then when I start on the legs, putting lines on the legs, I want to keep that in mind too, that like I don't want to draw straight lines. Even though they're very tiny lines, I want them to be slightly curved so that it kind of shows that there is, it gives him a little bit more form. And then here's the duck. And I did the same thing for the duck. And just so you know, I am a Minnesotan, so we don't say goose. We definitely say duck, gray duck. And if you don't think that's right, then I don't know what to tell you. You're just wrong. I'm sorry. It's duck, gray duck. And so then I'm just putting in the last few little details on the little duck. Well, hey again. Just for fun, my phone died. So I think we have declared, that is me and my cats, have declared this to be done. I might come back someday, put something interesting down this little stripe. But maybe not. We'll see. I mean, like, it looks okay the way it is, and it's really just in a sketchbook. It doesn't need to be amazing, although I am kind of in love with just making things in my sketchbook way more detailed than they need to be. So, This palette worked really well. I'm gonna have to clean this because that's a really big blob of paint there that I got when I wasn't paying attention to how gloppy the core is. I think I said earlier that I wasn't sure how core was gonna re-wet, but I have been using this really disgusting blob of a palette, and this is all core paints, and they re-wet fine off of here, so I don't think I'm gonna have any issues taking this out to paint with me once it's dried. And if you're thinking about getting this palette, I painted with it on my thumb this whole time, and it was pretty good. And if you're worried about palette space for mixing, it does have a little fold out. And I will say that I have heard that this little hinge right here is pretty fragile, so I'd be careful with it. Although if you do break it, the Frugal Crafter does have a video about fixing it, so yeah. I think that is it for today, my friends. So, I have no idea what I was going to say. I might have just been thinking that it would be nice to tell you guys that I really appreciate you coming by to watch my videos. And I really appreciate that nobody gave me a hard time for how completely awful my last video was. I really, really appreciate that. So Voiceover Annie is back just to say, you know, have a great week, and you're awesome people, and I hope you have time this week to do lots of cool art things and pet lots of really cute fluffy cats, and that's about it. Bye guys.